What up guys? Welcome to the Studio Plug channel. My name is Roclegion. I'm a new member of the Studio Plug team and I'll be producing a series of tutorials showcasing the different processes of how I personally make my own beats. So I've been producing for the last 5 to 6 years and my goal is to pass on as much knowledge and value to you guys as possible. And hopefully by the end you can pick up some tips, tricks and even some inspiration from the videos. So then you can apply them to your own beats. So many of you may not know me, and if you haven't heard any of my production before, I'm going to leave a little link in the description where you can check my YouTube channel out. So on to the important stuff, today's beat. So I'll give you a little bit of a run through of this Migos Party Next Door type beat which I created today. It's moody, it's wavy, it's got that drunk type of vibe, and I'll break down how I made the beat, the sounds and the VST plugins I used, and I'll go into how I arranged the track as well. So without further ado, let's get down to business and get busy with this beat. So as you can see, I'm using Ableton for a start. So my production often incorporates a lot of chops, a lot of acapellas and samples, and Ableton really provides me with the excellent platform for me to excel in these departments in particular. But at the end of the day, it all really comes down to preference. I've used many different DAWs including Reason, FL Studio, and I just found that Ableton suits my production style a little bit more. I've been using it for the last, I think it's 2 to 3 years, and I love it. So to the beat. So when you initially hear the beat in the introduction, it sounds pretty busy, sounds like there's a lot of elements and layers to it. When I break this down to you, you'll see that there's only few really core elements to the beat, and one of the main elements of the beat is the piano, which I'll show you here. So the piano is mainly 4 different chords, which you can hear here. So these chords really set the foundation for this track. It's the real driving force behind the instrumental, and you'll hear this constantly throughout the beat. And I played a little bit of this melody riff above the chord, and you'll be able to hear how it adds just that bit of character to the chords. Lovely. So this basically is the melody behind the entire beat. I use this throughout the entire track. The piano I used is from Nexus. I didn't do too much tweaking here. The Nexus grand piano, I didn't mess around too much, took off the delay. That's basically that sound. I did tweak that piano a little bit when the beat drops, which you can hear right here. So that drops right after the introduction. It just gives the beat a little more variety and character as it drops. One of my favorite elements of this beat would be the acapellas, and as I mentioned earlier, I always use acapellas for nearly every beat. And the acapella I used is from a track called Imari, Let Me Love You, I'm pretty sure. And I chopped the acapella up, and I knew that it was the same pitch as my beat, and I'll show you how it sounds here when I solo it. So that repeats itself. So that's one element of the acapella, but I also used a second element, which is the actual same acapella. I just raised it an octave, so 12 semitones, and you can see how these two acapellas play with each other here. Now I'll introduce the piano. So that's that section. The Rhodes sits right under that piano, and I'll just solo it out here so you can hear it. So it's the same 4 chords that I use with the piano, so you can listen to it here. And I use the Purity VST, which I use a lot in this beat. And here you can see the settings. I played around with the LFO settings, which gives it that kind of drunk, woozy vibe. You can hear it. And that's LFO, just sitting nicely under the piano. And along with that, I have an electric piano, which is an exact replica of the chord progression from the introduction. You can hear it here. Yep. The next part I want to show you is the bass line. So the bass line is from the Purity plugin again, and you can see it's bass guitar, metal bass. Often with Purity, when I'm looking for bass lines, I don't always look in the bass guitar section. I can often look into guitar and pluck section, and then pitch each sound an octave down, and you get that kind of real low end from kind of those string instruments, and it sounds really sick. I'll just solo with this bass line here, and you can hear it. So that's a loop then. So in terms of the glide, you just go to pitch bend here and you glide it down. That gives it that movement. And one trick in Purity is to mess with the bend range up here. So you can see it's set to 12, and sometimes I'll set it to 24 if I want a real drop in terms of movement with the glide. And I'll just show you how this sounds with the rest of the track. Here we go. In terms of the drums, it's very simple. I'm just going to play the hi-hats out for you here. Let me solo these. Pretty simple. And you can see I altered the velocity here, which is very important when you're looking for movement in your hats. You can see the velocity set to 64% here, and I do this with every beat. You need that movement for your drums. And you have your hi-hat. So that's simple. Let me bring in the snare. Pretty simple. Nothing too complicated there. And now the kick. One thing I often incorporate is a Triton saw to the beats, and it's perfect for transitions when you're building up to a moment in a beat. You can hear it here. Provides a bit of character, and then the final element is a reverse, which is pretty self-explanatory. We all know about those, and that's the beat in a nutshell. I mean, there's a couple of layers here that are vital to the sound of the beat, but often it's important to keep in mind when making beats to keep things quite minimalistic. The artist will always need space on the track for his vocals, and it's very important to keep that in mind when building the beat. So this piano here, which I showed you earlier on, is part of a MIDI kit that I created. has 30 to 40 MIDI sounds, very similar to this. This chord progression is also included in it. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check that out. It's available, and the beat itself is available on my BeatStars page, and I'll also leave a link to that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the beat and the video. I hope it was informative. So this is my first tutorial, so I'd love some feedback, some comments, some likes. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my own beat channel as well. I upload every week, and I look forward to next time, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.